Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tim Baker, the always spontaneous, apparently according to Daniel. I'm taking a stand now, proving my...
When did I say you were spontaneous?
I mean, you've kind of inferred it, and my ego kind of puts things a little bit higher
you're
than
right.
they should.
Every episode I say how great you are, and that obviously implies that... Infer isn't even the right word. You mean that I implied it. But yeah, I mean, just because of how great I say you are, I must mean that you're spontaneous. You're right.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
mean, spontaneous, creative.
Continue, Your Highness, please.
Wonderful in general. This is the You, Me, and BTC podcast, and we have the 121 Rum podcast today.
121 Rum, Pineapple, Malibu, something. I don't know. I already tried this before we started, and I didn't know it then either.
So. Why did you play your rap again?
Didn't really work too well. But anyway, I'm here with...
Actually, maybe you should play that, because when people hear how bad it is, they won't get mad that we didn't know that it was actually 151.
121 Rum.
There you go.
I'm here with, as they've already introduced themselves... No, they haven't introduced themselves, but they've trampled into my intro.
Yeah, we've sort of interrupted you because you're not worth letting you talk for very long. I'm Daniel Brown.
Because you guys just like talking to me. And
I'm John Stuart.
Well, nice to see you guys. How was your guys' week?
Tim, you can't see us.
I see your faces on Skype.
Oh, yeah, from like 10 years ago,
It doesn't
probably.
matter, Daniel. Your face still means something to me.
I'll be completely honest. My week kind of sucked so far. I mean, we're recording on Wednesday because I was at work till like 10 p.m. last night. So, and normally we record on Tuesdays, but I was at work, so it's Wednesday. But, so it goes, right? I've just been super busy and crashing a bunch of websites left and right. But it happens,
Yeah.
I want to know about John's week.
How many conversations did you have, John?
Yeah, all that talking about this stuff you do.
Let me see. Like, pretty much none, because I've been, sorry, I'm, really confused right now. I've been pretty busy this week. I have a lot of stuff.
That can happen when Tim talks.
That can happen around 420.
Hey, that would make a great website, Tim. Tim Talks. That sounds pretty good. We should make a website.
Oh, yeah, definitely make a website like that.
I have a lot of stuff that I got to get done in the next couple weeks, which is why I can't really remember anything I've done this week, but it's probably been a lot.
Yeah, busy. So it goes.
I lost my wallet.
I guess.
Just because I want to trample over you
that.
guys since you did it to me. So I don't really care about your stories. I just wanted to get that off my chest. So if anybody found it, please return it to me. Because for some reason, somehow you'd know my address. Actually, you could look at the... Yeah, never mind. Just send it back.
No, the bigger surprise would be that somebody would be listening to our show and happen to find your wallet. I mean, knowing your address is one thing, but randomly finding a wallet...
No one who listens to the show goes out to the mall. I felt alien there too. But...
Tim, you went to the mall.
You lost your wallet at the mall.
What was this, like a 4th grade date?
Yes, I was like, we're gonna go, and we're gonna pick out soccer balls because it's gonna be cool. No, I bought a soccer ball, and I was wearing gym shorts, and I'm pretty sure I dropped it in the parking lot.
So it's a little late to be doing our teasers. I mean, we tend to do that. We ramble on our intros for a while, but here they go, our teasers. Today we want to talk about a original series about a digital currency. It's a Crackle original, and just the fact that Crackle is doing something is kind of interesting. So that's worth talking about. But they're making an original series about digital currency. Not exactly Bitcoin, but pretty much the same idea. I don't even know. The trailer's hilarious. So we're going to talk about that and what's even going on. And we want to talk about the sex trade, because this was at the request of
You got way
Dustin.
too excited right at that part. Like you perked
I mean, that
up.
was kind of the point. I mean, everyone wants to talk about the sex trade, so I got to play it up like a good teaser. Tim, I told you I'm doing teasers. All right, calm down.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, I was trying to respond like the audience, man. I'm trying to get them hyped as well.
All right,
Like,
all right. Hype up,
Daniel?
guys. Hype up.
What do you do? You can't talk about that like that.
So, at the request of Dustin from btcartgallery.com, he was saying the other week in the Bitcoin News Show, which goes out on our website. It's hosted by the One Vortex on Twitter, but we put it out on our website. I join in sometimes. And Dustin was saying basically like nobody ever talks about how Bitcoin kind of facilitates the sex trade or similar crime and terrible things, whatever. And I mean, we've had similar conversations before about whether it really enables or helps crime or whether it makes a difference because they can already do crime with cash or whatever. I mean, we've talked about that before, but according to Dustin, we don't talk about the serious things enough, so we're going to get into that. Before that, though, we want to give, this episode will be going out on April the 21st, roughly, if you know, I'm late sometimes, you know, but roughly April 21st, and we've been talking about that date for about a month now because we've been telling people that if they donate to our Patreon campaign, we'll give them some special thank yous on the show until April 21st. And so far, we still have one awesome donator at $1 per episode. Thanks so much, Westside Bitcoin. He's, you know, our first donator. I mean, how can we say thank you except to just say thank you, you know?
I just got really sad.
Wow, Daniel. You're like, I can't express how much. I mean, just say thank you, sir, for your money.
It sounds crazy, but it's true. Like, we can't thank people enough for actually going out of their way and supporting us.
I think we can thank people enough.
Nope, we can't do it. We can't do it.
I think we can't thank people enough, but at the same time, I got really sad right there.
Really sad for what?
Because we only have one person at $1 a month.
All you listeners, then, you got to help us out with that. It's patreon.com/you, me, and BTC. Patreon is the name of the service. And you can donate per episode any amount you like. And, you know, there's perks there. And we said we'd set up goals. We still really need to do that. Apologies for not doing that yet. But anyway, ymb.tc/feed us is another short link. And I know there's a whole discussion about that, but we've done that enough times. So just go check it out and support us.
There's no discussion anymore. It's just John thinks it's weird.
You were trying really hard.
It probably was.
And if you want to check out Westside Bitcoin's app that he made for Android, a converter that can convert like millibits to euros or dollars to satoshis, things like that. And you can even set a markup if you're a trader and you charge a 2% fee. You can put that in the calculator. You can find that app at ymb.tc/Westside Bitcoin. I know he'd love it if you checked it out. And so would we. All right, so it is time for the trailer, I guess, which we just found today, but it made me laugh enough that I figured it was worth talking about. And I don't even know if he's prepared, but I'm going to turn it over to John to tell us what's going on here, just because, I mean, Tim and I already talked a little bit, and because I feel like I should turn it over to John. I don't know, but here we go, John. What's up with this trailer?
Man, I mean, so it's this new show on Crackle, which I didn't even know was a thing until I saw this.
So actually, yeah, before we get into this, that's worth talking about. Crackle I found him a few years ago when I was too poor to pay for Netflix, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's completely free. They must have a paid version, but it is kind of a free Netflix. But obviously, because it's free, their quality is way lower. Their selection is way lower. They just have a lot of random, some of it's like public domain, like old shows. It's just a video streaming service. And I guess you must be able to pay for extra stuff. But it's kind of similar to Netflix, just a little lower quality. So yeah, that's worth mentioning. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a couple years ago, it might be all paid now, because like that's where everything's turning into paid.
Yeah, it's true.
So who knows now? But anyways, competitor of Netflix. That's what it says in the article that we're looking at too. Anyways, it's this trailer for, I guess it's a mini series, or is it a full series? Series. It says upcoming series.
It says 10 episodes. So
okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a mini series, but it's not like a long series. Whatever. Stupid thing to go down. Anyways, there's this trailer, and it's the premise of the show is that there's a guy who he's got this digital currency startup, and there's a gang leader and like some kind of I don't. It was kind of hard to follow. There's like a couple people, and somehow they're all involved in this. Like, they don't really explain how it works, but the gang leader is using this currency that's like very obviously modeled on Bitcoin. Like,
right?
They say, what do they say? Untraceable, unregulated. Which untraceable, I mean, you can argue with, but that's like a thing that people have said of Bitcoin, whether or not it's true. It's this very obviously modeled on Bitcoin, and this gang leader is interested in it for criminal purposes, and I don't know. So
they do actually feature the creator of this other currency. I forget, like GenCoin or something is what they called it. We'll play the trailer for you in just a second so you can hear that. But yeah, the creator is part of the show, which is interesting because he's not really part of Bitcoin anymore. But yeah, I mean, basically that's it. That's the premise. They're making a show about, well, what would happen if you created a digital currency that was kind of just unregulated, right? I mean, that's probably the main thing, especially the way they connect it to crime. The main thing they're emphasizing is it's unregulated, and that makes a difference, and it gives people lots of opportunities, whether those are good or bad opportunities. And actually, that's another thing worth mentioning. This story is from CoinDesk, and part of the title is, well, I'll just read the whole thing. Trailer for unreleased TV drama highlights digital currency's seedier side. So that is, according to CoinDesk, that's kind of the point of the show, is to highlight the seedier side of Bitcoin. And I mean, according to the trailer, it seemed like to a certain extent they were glorifying this kind of currency. I mean, they were saying it's a revolution. I don't know if they used that word, but it seemed like they were saying good things about the currency. So, okay, maybe they're highlighting the seedier side, but I think they're also just in general trying to show how different it is and how it could be beneficial, but of course it's an unreleased drama, so I don't know. But anyway, we will play it then for you guys, and we'll be right back to laugh at it. It is pretty funny. I mean, it's serious, it's a real drama, but it still made me laugh, actually mostly because they took it so seriously. So I don't know. Enjoy, guys. We'll be right back.
Did you know 50% of the world population don't have access to a bank account? But almost all of them have a cell phone. That's GenCoin.
She's launching a currency that no one uses.
Not yet, but they will. And make this something that is actually going to change the world.
I do what I have to, but I'm trying to change that.
It's digital currency, unregulated, untraceable.
Agent Rask, Special Agent Pierce.
You gotta ask yourself one question. What does a banker from Brickell, a hacker from Hialeah, and a thug from Little Haiti have in common?
I believe in what y'all doing, and I want to be a part of it. Digital currency. All you need is this.
This is your mess, and I'm gonna clean it up.
We can own this damn city. That money isn't yours.
This is supposed to be a legitimate business.
I don't think you understand how this works.
You want to know what the difference between a rich thug and a poor thug is?
This is Miami. Even the good get dirty.
Is that what you think he is?
He's FBI.
You are holding onto a time bomb.
If they play dirty, that means we can play a little dirty too.
It's the future, not just of crime, but of commerce.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. If you want to see the actual video, I mean, you can look it up. Actually, I'll put it in the show notes. So ymb.tc/E121 that's how we do our short links if you want to see the actual video. But yeah, so I actually want to start at the very beginning. I mean, the first line of the trailer, and they quote it here in the CoinDesk article. 50% of the world's population doesn't have a bank account, but almost all of them have a cell phone. That's GenCoin. So I guess that is kind of what I was trying to say just before we played that. They, in a way, they are glorifying the currency, which I'm okay with, obviously. I mean, it's a Bitcoin podcast. Of course we love Bitcoin and this kind of currency. But yeah, they do say, like, listen, banking is hard. It's annoying. Sometimes it's malicious. Sometimes it's old-fashioned and slow, whatever. Not many people have a bank account, but almost everyone has a cell phone, and that lets them use GenCoin or cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or whatever. So I'm okay with that. And
I'm going to completely disagree with you on that.
All right.
And that's what I was going to say.
Fight.
Oh, shoot. I think I just realized that my audio is really too loud. Oh, well, it's probably going to be distorted for...
We'll make it work. If it's really that bad, I'll leave in this little clip so that everyone knows that John screwed up.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
All right.
I wonder if I think I'm using my internal mic on my computer. All right. So now my audio should be way better. And I apologize for not realizing what was going on before. But anyways, what was I saying? I completely disagree with you. To me, that intro, like, it seems so like they're portraying the GenCoin people as like used car salesmen. Like it seems like so like cliche of what you hear like Bitcoin people say, that to me it just sounds like, look at these people, they're like a used car salesman. And like there's more stuff like that like later in the trailer where he's like, it's like she's like, some woman is like telling him about how it's getting used by these gangs or whatever, and he's like, it's supposed to be a legitimate business. And like it seems like they're portraying the startup guy from GenCoin as just like this really naive like tech kid who like he doesn't know about the real world.
I mean, I can agree with you a little bit there. That's kind of what I meant before we started playing it, how I was saying, like, they take it way too seriously. They're like, this is so epic. Not everyone has a bank account, but everyone has a cell phone. And everyone's going to use this. It's a revolution. I mean, that made me laugh. Like, and maybe you might be right, John. That might be the point. Like, it might sound like an epic sales pitch. This is so great. And that might be kind of a mockery. I could see that a little bit. And I don't really know what to say other than we'll see what the actual show is like. I mean, I guess I would watch this, at least a few episodes to see if it's worth watching, but I guess I would say that about almost any show. So
it's not hard to grab you the first few.
Yeah. Well, especially if it's free. Yeah, I don't know if Crackle's still free, but if it is, then no problem. I'd watch it just to see. But anyway, Tim, you were harassing us there for a second, and I know you have something really important to say.
I was just trying to make a point. Apparently, that counts as harassing you because Daniel's too weak in his own positions that me just putting any kind of a effort towards focusing my opinion is...
You're too weak in your speaking, so we're even.
He's bad. Anyway, it says right at the end, and it sounds like the woman speaking, the one who was introducing GenCoin at the beginning, she says, this isn't just the future of crime, this is the future of commerce. So it's not even, like right there, it's kind of, again, focusing it very, it's very bad. It's very, you're going to use this for this. And
how is that bad?
What?
How is that, what's wrong with commerce? How is that a bad thing?
But
I would say that's still glorification.
But she says it's not just the future of crime. Like it's not, that is an admittance, but that's not the kind of admittance you make if the product that you made is not meant for evading something or like evading taxes or stealing something. It's negative towards it. I'm not saying it it has to be negative. I'm saying what it would probably elicit from people.
Yeah, I also can't tell by the voice which woman is speaking because there were several in the trailer. So I don't know if it's the woman who was speaking at the beginning or if it's supposed to be someone else. I don't know. I don't know if that matters either.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see. I really am interested. I don't know, Tim. It's not just the future of crime, but it's also the future of commerce. And maybe that sounds like her saying that, listen, this can help us do all this crime, and it can help us do other whatever kind of commerce. So yeah, if she's saying that, then okay, yeah, that might not be glorification. That might be like Bitcoin is awful, and I don't know. But yeah, and we'll get into the crime stuff in a little bit with the whole sex trades thing and whatever. So we'll get to that in Bitcoin. Another comment I just wanted to mention was Martin Freeman is in this. I love him because I'm a Lord of the Rings nut, and he was Bilbo. So I don't know.
If you're a Lord of the Rings nut, you should not love him.
That's not Lord of the Rings. Shut your mouth.
Wait, why wouldn't I love him, John? Because it's not actually Lord of the Rings? Are you saying the same thing Tim was?
No, I'm saying that the Hobbit movies are horrible. I haven't even seen
them,
but I've never heard anything good about them.
You haven't even seen them? Okay, that's... I always thought better of you, John.
This is unacceptable.
It took me 121 episodes to realize it, but now you just dropped pretty far on my ladder. You haven't even seen them?
I just became second.
I've never heard a single good thing about them.
All right. So here's the deal with me and The Hobbit. When I first saw it, I struggled with it too. I was like, it seems too fake, too much animation, too much of it was just like they couldn't fall that far and survive. It just didn't seem real. And it took me, actually, it didn't take me a while. It took me a couple hours, and I was like, wait, compared to The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit is kind of supposed to be a cartoon. It's supposed to be cheesy and awkward and simpler and everything because it's supposed to be a kid's book. It's supposed to be a whole lot less serious. And then I was like, actually, okay, so if you can get by that, sure, it's plenty entertaining. I mean, yeah, they changed a lot of stuff and whatever, and there's a ton of animation, but I mean, I was entertained by it. It was still just as epic, if not more epic than The Lord of the Rings. And that's actually, I mean, completely disregarding the story, the epicness of The Lord of the Rings and of The Hobbit is pretty epic. I mean, I know, like I said, I'm a nut, so I watched all the special features and stuff, but the way that they make those films, how they spend months and months, like, transforming a real mountain into some, town or whatever, and they write, they scatter the set with like notes written in Elvish, even though nobody's ever going to see the notes on film. I mean, just the amount of effort that goes into those things has always impressed me. So anyway, that's my probably 60-second take on The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. But anyway,
I'm just saying they don't have the greatest reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
Yeah, oh come on. I have a friend who refuses to watch movies if they don't score well on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm sorry, I'm not okay with that. So sorry, you just fell a little bit farther, John. On my totem pole.
I'll watch them, but I'm not expecting anything good.
Did you ever see Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
Yeah.
Okay, that's one of our, the three of us have loved to make fun of that movie forever. So the fact that you watched it makes that okay. If you said you didn't watch it, if you said you didn't watch it, I would have been pretty upset. But
I didn't see what I said. I never said that I thought The Hobbit was bad. I said that I've never heard anyone else say anything good about it.
I don't know. It's recorded now. I'll have to check when we're done.
I mean,
don't know
you
what
can
your
check.
exact
I'm very confident that that's what I said because I immediately afterwards I said I haven't seen it.
You did say
that's
that.
true. That's true. So I don't know, guys.
All the people I know who are like really nutty about Lord of the Rings hate it, and most of them hate the Lord of the Rings movies too.
At the beginning of it, to get him to go off.
So I don't know, guys. Is this a sign that we should rebrand the podcast as like a movie review podcast? Could we do it? Could we argue enough about movies?
No, that would not be good because we would never watch enough of the movies. We'd be like, this just looks bad. Just don't watch it. Why? Why do you think? Because it just looks bad. We have no idea, but we're just assuming it's going to be shit.
We should probably cut out half of that.
Based on the way we do Bitcoin stories, we would watch like 30 seconds of the movie and then do like a 12-hour episode.
Well, I think the beginning of Transform was really strong. It had this like space part, and then it showed the moon, and then I just left. I mean, I thought it was good.
The moon was okay, but those Transformers, actually I didn't see them, but they were probably terrible, so. Oh, man. Anyway, all right, back on track. Where were we? Oh, yeah, Martin Freeman is in this show. I'm okay with that. Maybe you guys aren't, but whatever. Okay, one last thing. This just made me laugh was the way they put the sex scenes in the trailer. I mean, obviously, every movie does that. Not every movie, but a lot. They'll put like a few seconds of like a sex scene or like a half-naked lady just so that people are like, oh, I might see a sex scene. I gotta watch that. It looks sexy. But this one makes me laugh because it's not even a few seconds. It's literally like probably like a quarter to a half of a second of like some girl taking a deep breath, and then it's always unrelated to the movie and unrelated to the trailer, but this one just seemed especially it's in the middle of like a sentence and they plug in some girl taking a deep breath and then they finish the sentence. I don't know. It just seems so absurd and obnoxious. I don't know. But I don't know. That's what I thought. So, are you tired of Bitcoin dice and ready for something different? Try Lucky Bit, the original falling coin game at luckybit. It's the most exciting Bitcoin game on the web. You can bet on 5 different payout lines and win up to 999 times your bet. You can even use their faucet to get some free Bitcoin. Dice is boring. Play different at Lucky Bit. Check it out at luckybit. Any other thoughts before we move from sex scenes to the sex trade?
Oh, wow, look at that transition. That's a good transition.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so I guess it's time then. Time for the sex trade. So I'm going to, just for fun, see if I can keep this super minimal.
Don't do anything for fun involving the sex trade, Daniel. You're already failing at this whole thing about people talking seriously about the sex trade and how Bitcoin's involved with it. So this is a good start.
So wait, are you saying people don't talk or shouldn't talk seriously about the sex trade?
No, I think it's pretty obvious I'm saying that you've already failed at talking seriously about it as the person that you were talking about requested.
I mean, that's fair enough. I can't talk seriously about anything, which is kind of my point. I said I want to keep this minimal, so I'm going to do that right now.
Okay.
And instead of me going off on like a 2.5-minute tangent, here goes. This is all I'm going to say. What do you guys think about the sex trade and Bitcoin?
Repeat the question.
See, this isn't going to work for my normal way of doing things, because normally I just wait for somebody else to say something stupid.
And then make fun of them.
That was wrong.
Yeah. So, Tim.
That's not even true, to be honest.
Just repeat the question. I'll say the first thing that comes to my mind.
Stupid...
Yeah. So, I'm done. I'm done with my tangent, but repeating the question is not going off on a bigger tangent, so I'll accept that challenge,
Tim. You're going off on a bigger tangent
Tim.
right now.
No, I'm not. There's no such thing as a tangent. Oh, speaking of tangent. No, okay. All right. So, Tim. What do you think about the sex trade and Bitcoin?
I think that Bitcoin is just as involved in the sex trade as cash is, if not less.
Yeah, all right.
I guess it possibly makes it easier for like international, but I don't know how that would even work. It's not like they're shipping people in boxes or anything like that.
Are you kidding me?
What?
I bet you they absolutely are.
I don't think they ship people in boxes.
Are you kidding me? In shipping containers full of girls. You've never heard of that? I'm not even joking. That is absolutely a thing.
Where?
I think Tim meant like a cardboard box.
Yeah, I'm talking like a single. You're not getting like a shipping
like
container full of
like,
girls shipped to your house. Like, at least I hope not.
Yeah, like
I mean,
like,
I guess
there
not,
are people
but
who build houses out of shipping containers.
I mean,
I don't think of that as like shipping somebody in a box.
I see what you mean, but to me, it's just as terrible. I mean, who cares if it's a big box or a little box? It's pretty disgusting,
it's a
right?
pretty big difference.
Well,
Daniel.
I mean, the difference is that like you don't get one person buying a whole shipping container of like prostitutes.
Yeah.
You get like some pimp who has like this huge prostitution business buying that, and then people are then buying it from him, which takes out the international part.
Yeah, that Bitcoin's better
like
than
most
cash.
people. Then it's only one person who's
okay.
like,
well, another point.
In that case, it would still help the one person, but it doesn't. I don't know that it makes it more widespread.
Maybe. I mean, okay, wait. You don't know that what makes it more widespread?
Just as far as the international, I feel like Bitcoin doesn't. I don't think that there's like a new market for like international sex trafficking.
Okay, see that's.
I mean, maybe there is.
That's another place
like,
where I would say, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I'm not. I don't know all the pimps out there, so I don't know if all this goes down or how much or anything. But in my head, it seems like if I was trying to sell a crate full of girls to China,
what?
I feel like it. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm being pretty serious right now. If I was trying to do that, it would be way easier to use Bitcoin, like miles easier.
So I'm not saying that people don't use it for that. What I'm saying is that anybody who can buy a crate full of girls from China probably could do it before Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to be pretty well connected to do stuff like that.
Yeah, but doesn't Bitcoin make it way easier?
Yeah, but
like
no
I
one
was just saying.
No one who has one has the money enough.
It's the same people doing it.
You have to have the amount of money to do that, and that amount of money would put you in the position to have that kind of power.
I'm not saying that people don't use it and it doesn't make them easier. I'm saying that like because there's Bitcoin, there's not now like 50 new pimps buying girls from China and shipping containers.
They run specials.
It's probably still the same people doing it. They can just do it better
and
cheaper, more effectively, which is a benefit of
Tim,
Bitcoin.
why are you? No, if it's cheaper, then more people can do it. That's like the exact opposite of what you just said, Tim. You're like, you have to have the money, but it'll be cheaper.
No, but
you have to have the money.
It saves operating costs, but you still need that amount of money to bribe people or to just have that kind of power over people. It's not creating new criminals out of it.
I honestly don't know if I would agree. I mean...
Or it's creating a negligible amount of new criminals, I would imagine. I doubt that there's like new people like, you know what I want to get into and I've never thought about doing, but it was always because I didn't have enough money. I want to get into the sex trade. I definitely want to start doing that.
No, I don't want to just start here. I want to get a
I need to get
shipping crate full of girls from China.
If only
at my door tomorrow.
If only there is a way to send a shipping crate's worth of girls worth of money to China.
Let me Google
then
this
I
real
would
quick.
Be in this.
Oh shit, this Bitcoin stuff. This looks dope. Let's get this.
Dope.
I only got $15.
Let's
Let's go sell some crack, and let's buy a crack and then he just builds up from it. Just because he gave him someone gave him a Google Chromebook. Those bastards.
I know what you mean, guys, and I this is actually what I told Dustin. I think we might have still been on the air, so you might be able to find it if you want to. But I think I told him like. My guess is that if I bring this up on the show, because he was complaining that nobody was talking about the sex trade in Bitcoin. And I told him, my guess is if we bring it up, the first thing that would come up is, well, it's not really that different than cash. And so at the very least, I'm going to toot my own horn because I was right that was what came up. But maybe a better way to put it is, Tim, you said negligible, but when we're talking serious crime, like just disgusting, I mean, whether it's the sex trade or any other just disgusting, I mean, we talked about the assassin.
All right, we also need to make a difference.
Hang on, let me finish. Let me finish, Tim. You interrupt me all the time, and I'm cutting you out. I don't care what you have to say for the next 10 seconds. I'm almost done.
Finish it. Have your little tirade.
I don't. We talked about the assassination market before, so pick your favorite worst crime ever. Even if it's negligible, if Bitcoin makes it a little bit more easier, if Bitcoin introduces one more person to it, isn't that pretty darn terrible? See, that's a good buzzword there because we talked about the word terrible all last week. No, terrible. If you listen to last week's episode, you'll actually know the answer to my question. But before we bring up that answer or whatever, doesn't it seem like even if it was just one extra crate of girls, even if it was just one extra, unjustified assassination or whatever, isn't that just awful, terrible, something we should never do?
That's any advancement in most any technology is going to help crime in some way, because crime is something that people do. You help people's lives. I mean, I don't even mean it in that, like, far-fetched way of saying it, like if you improve blenders at home, then criminals get better nutrition or something. That was really bad. Anyway,
it's pretty true.
They use
but it could
blenders
be
to
true.
kill
Like
people.
criminals start eating more kale shakes because blenders are cheaper, more effective, and all that shit. But I don't know, I'm trying to think of a normal thing. Like I didn't have a good example coming into this.
No, I seriously think that was actually
a
pretty good example. If you want to bring it down to base terms, it sounds absurd, but your example right there was pretty true. I mean, any kind of innovation is going to help everyone, good and bad.
Well, I think of like drones, especially like that. I mean, that's a hot topic thing, but that can be used pretty well for just like spying on a house, or like even just like down to like robbery. But like that's a thing. 3D printing seems to not get that much. I mean, maybe it's because I just don't really look at the news too much anyway. But it doesn't get as much press as soon as all those guns started to come out and the plans for those guns. That industry kind of shifted. So, like, any advancement has a potential to... Normally, criminals are one of the first... I don't know if we've talked about it or if it was something I read, but it seems like criminals are normally the first people to use an emerging technology because it's something new. It's a little bit ahead of the police. They might not have the best training on it yet, that they don't have the best thing to combat it. So I think there's kind of a tie-in there, is that normally either criminals or just people with like weirder, abnormal jobs, like who normally get paid in cash or who normally just do like just out of the ordinary stuff, are going to be the first people to use new technologies. And we still have to remember that Bitcoin's pretty new as far as the technology goes. It's been 7 years? I mean, that's still not that much.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also just because people who are into crime are also more willing to take risks.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what their whole lifestyle is based off of. So things that aren't, settled, they're going to be more willing to get into. But just going back to the sex trade thing, I think, it gets really complicated because what you were saying is true. Like, if one more crate of girls comes over from China or whatever, that is a horrible thing. But that becomes the point where you have to say, well, like, if they couldn't buy girls from China in a shipping crate with Bitcoin, would they not just be spending that same amount of money on people here? And that's like where it gets more complicated because, well, maybe it's way cheaper to get people from overseas. So, like, maybe now there's more girls in the sex trafficking thing because they can get international people. And that might be true. It's just, like, it's such a complicated thing that... And really, like, there's not... I mean, it's crime, so there's not accurate statistics on it because if there was, it wouldn't be... it would be really bad crime if there was, I guess. So, like, it's hard to say how much it actually impacts it. I think there's possibility there, but I guess I think it's like important to separate possibility from assumptions that tend to get just made.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And just to finish off, the question, isn't it pretty terrible if even one more crate of girls gets forced into the sex trade or whatever? I mean, yeah, it is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But I mean, and maybe it sounds terrible for me to say this too, but we talked about last week, and I think it was even part of the title of the episode was like terrible ain't wrong. Now, that's tough to apply here because I would say it's absolutely wrong to force girls into whatever, or guys, I don't know, that probably happens too. So it is terrible and it is very wrong, but if you look at the whole, If you look at Bitcoin, that doesn't mean Bitcoin is wrong. That doesn't mean that cryptocurrency is wrong. I mean, the way you use it can be very wrong. I mean, people make the argument about guns all the time, like guns don't kill people. Well, Bitcoin doesn't make people buy and sell people.
Of girls.
Yeah.
Well, it helps in other industries, but it helps in the same industry too, because, I mean, theoretically it helps. Because I think a lot of the more independent, the girls normally in the United States or more developed countries that just work independently, normally they're just known as like call girls, because that's kind of the way to get around it, I guess. But I think they take Bitcoin sometimes too, because it's just easier, it's safer not having to carry around cash all the time. So even in that same industry, it does help. It just depends on where there's already coercion going on and people forcing. It doesn't matter like how it happens, how they're getting paid. The problem is other people forcing other people to do stuff.
Yeah. And that's kind of what, I completely agree. The problem is force, absolutely. And that's kind of what John was saying. Like, even if they weren't spending that money to buy girls from across the pond, they would probably, if they were the kind of people who would do those kind of terrible things, then even if they couldn't do that specific terrible thing, they would probably be coercing people and forcing people and beating people and enslaving people just as much in their own hometown if they couldn't spend the money overseas or whatever. And you're right, John, it gets a little more complicated there because it might be cheaper and, there's a lot of variables, but the bottom line is just it's not Bitcoin's fault. It's the people's fault. And that's pretty much the end of the story, I think. We don't have to blame Bitcoin. We don't have to destroy Bitcoin. We need to go after the people and reject them and what's the word for ostracize? Yeah, I mean, whatever you can do, just reject that kind of behavior. And I don't know. Maybe that's all you can do, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. And just to clarify again, I think it is possible that Bitcoin makes it easier for people to do things that they're already doing that are bad and maybe allows them the potential to do more. But that's not necessarily the case. It's a possibility. And also, the negative things get talked about often a lot more than the positive things. So sometimes it's hard to tell whether something is net negative or net positive. But I do appreciate the fact that this was brought up, because I think it's it can be I mean, I tend to lean more towards the same way as Tim does, and I'm not saying that that Tim is being naive, but I think there is it is possible to be naive and thinking that everything's just going to balance out in the end. I guess maybe as an example of that is I think maybe it's Adam Kokesh who always talks about how there's a lot of things like guns were developed and made it really easy for people to kill each other, but they also allowed you to hunt and stuff. But then he says a bomb is something that's has no really good use other than killing a bunch of people at once.
Yeah.
So there are certain things where maybe it is net negative, and it might be naive to just assume that things will balance out in the end. I'm not saying Bitcoin is like that, but maybe that's something that should be considered.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. I've never heard that from Adam Kokesh or from anyone, but I think it's a pretty good point. I mean, yeah, maybe some innovations are net negative, and maybe that does need to be considered, which is a tough thing to say because we absolutely love Bitcoin. But hey, we've been questioning enough of our stances lately that why not question this one too, or question it in this way? Man, we've been doing that a ton for the last month or two. It's just we're
just having a personal meltdown inside. As the core mind, we're just no, let's attack all of these ideas. This is wrong. I feel like,
yeah,
it's good. It's cleansing.
Yeah, we've had an interesting time. If you haven't listened to them, go back about a month and listen to our latest episodes. I mean, and we've done it a few times, a year or two ago. We've gotten into some questioning, but it's been a whole lot lately.
We're all in weird times in our lives, and we're not sure where we stand. That's where our podcast should go, is young, like how young males who are not well adjusted.
That'll be the name of our next show, Just a Phase. And the nickname will be Jap. That's crap. I know I might need to cut that out because someone might steal it.
I wouldn't worry too much about somebody stealing it.
It's like it was so good.
What, you wouldn't listen to the Jap podcast?
Jap podcast.
After we're just talking about shipping girls and crates over here.
Yeah, from Asia. All right, guys, advice of the week. I don't know. I feel like we have to have some good stuff today. What can we tell people? How should we tell people to change their behavior? What do we know that they don't know? That how can we improve their lives by telling them how they should behave? What's our advice of the week? I'm gonna say something about. Well, okay, this bears like some explaining first.
That sentence took so long
because
to start.
Daniel and I always talk about how much we hate BuzzFeed, and like I want to just like before I go into what I'm going to talk about, I want to reiterate how much I hate BuzzFeed, and I do think it's like the worst thing ever. But even the worst thing ever can sometimes have something good about it. And one time I saw this BuzzFeed video that was. It was like these people who were trying to decide what to do. And they were like, well, we could go out to that new restaurant. And then somebody was like, but they
serve GMOs.
Yeah, they serve GMOs or like they buy their meat from a place that abuses animals or something like that. And it was just, they went through this long list of things. And at the end, somebody's like, how about we just sit in the basement and do nothing with the lights off? And they're all like, I'm okay with that. Because they're trying so hard to not do anything bad.
You should have. I don't know. You should have given some more examples, but I couldn't really remember them either. But yeah, basically they're like, why don't we do this? Yeah, but that's enslaving people in Africa. That company, enslaves people. Why don't we do this? Yeah, they have a sweatshop or something. And then they're like, well, we could go here. And they're like, yeah, but I don't know, they turned away homeless people the other week, and that's terrible. And they just go through this whole list, and they're like, well, everyone's terrible. Everyone treats people awfully or whatever. So yeah.
So anyways, my advice is just, like, if you're worried about this stuff, just sit in your basement and turn off the lights and do nothing. And actually, you should probably get rid of your house because maybe somebody killed themselves there 50 years ago or something. Basically, you should sell everything that you own and like dig a hole somewhere in the middle of the desert where no one would ever try to claim that property as their own.
Yeah, but do you know how many worms died making that dirt in your hole? I mean,
I don't think there are worms in the desert.
Okay, in the desert. All right. So what about scorpions? We got those here in the desert. I would know.
Do they dig holes?
I don't know, but
I mean, they could always just live in the hole with you.
Sure. Yeah, you could take care of them, give them some loving. Yeah. All right.
What does that mean?
Well, I think I do this a lot. I take cheap shots with the advice. I just take the easy way out, whatever. So, sure, an easy one here is just, don't buy and sell people. Don't ship people across the pond in crates. I mean, it sounds obvious, but not everyone knows that. So I'm going to make that my advice for all those pimps out there listening to us. Please, just for at least a little bit, refrain from buying and selling people. It's not my favorite thing in the world, so I'm going to ask you to just take a step back, take a deep breath, and reconsider. So that's my advice, and we'll see what Tim's got for us.
Well, I was about to say how I thought that Daniel was going to use the advice of don't buy and sell people, but then I realized he wasn't that much of a hack. But
that is the advice.
Never mind. Yeah. Thank you, Daniel. Wow, you're continuing to ruin this too, aren't you?
Tuned it out.
Anyway.
No, what he's saying is he can't say that because you did say it, so you are a hack.
Okay, sure. I'm lost, but okay, sure.
Isn't that what you were trying to say?
Yes, I thought that was obvious.
He said, I was going to make fun of you, but I was going to say that I was going to make fun of you for saying this, but you didn't say it, so you're not that much of a hack. But you did say it, so you are a hack. So now he can't say that.
So, first off, don't be like
whatever.
Daniel, but...
No, that's some pretty good advice. We could stop there. I mean, that's great advice. I mean, I'll tell people that all day
I don't
long.
think they have enough of a true grasp of your life and the decisions that you've made with it to truly understand what it is to be not like Daniel. But I would say advice is in the future. Whenever you look at something that is being said that it's bad or it's wrong for a technology to be advancing because the criminal sector is using it, no matter really how bad it is. I mean, if it's like a missile or like some kind of weird nerve gas, that's different. That's generally not something that can be used very well for a peaceful use. Although me personally, not being a pacifist, would not mind that for some kind of like a home defense thing if someone could work that out. But anyway, make sure like you don't just automatically go with that opinion of, well, it's being used for this, so it's bad, because it probably does have some kind of use eventually, or it might already. It just depends because there's no it could possibly be just because there's no regulation for it yet. So anyone who uses it is kind of in the gray zone. That's what's happened with Bitcoin for so long, and I think that happens with that. I think that at least has the potential to happen with a lot of new technologies that come out. So, be open-minded is what that whole long rambling thing was for.
I mean, while you were saying all that, Tim, I was thinking about John's example about how bombs...
Of course you were. John always has a better example.
Yeah, always, Tim. Always better than you.
Yeah, I already heard you. It hurts.
But he's like, bombs might not serve a purpose. And I was thinking, okay, let's take that to the extreme. What about nukes, right? Could nukes possibly serve a purpose?
Yeah.
And at first, I would have said,
I want a nuclear weapon. I definitely want one if I have enough money.
Yeah, sure. I mean, my response is going to be, well, actually, there is such a thing as, Tim, would you let me finish one sentence?
No.
Jeez. All I was going to say is, like, it seems like nukes might never have a purpose, but I don't know this for sure, but it seems like they probably led to things like radiation therapy or chemotherapy, whatever, and some health benefits and things like that. And, I think I've had this done once where you take a radioactive pill so they can track like where it goes inside you. And I mean, there's stuff like that. Why does it have to
be radioactive?
You missed a really big one, and that's nuclear power.
Well, sure. All right. Yeah.
And yeah, I actually thought of that when I originally said the example, and I wasn't going to bring it up because it makes my example weaker. But I mean, I guess
you should be a lawyer.
No, analogously, I actually have a rebuttal. Analogously, it's like saying Bitcoin not blockchain, or blockchain not Bitcoin, I guess. Because so people developing that bomb led to other technologies, but like the fact that bomb exists, the bomb itself still has no positive purpose, really.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, and it's like Bitcoin is the bomb, blockchain is the nuclear power. I could see that. I wouldn't agree, but yeah, I know what you mean, and there might be a little bit of a rebuttal there. But anyway, thanks a lot for being here. It has been episode number 21. We've been great.
121 rum.
Yeah, it's been episode 121 rum. What, I don't know. Hey guys, all the music.
Don't know, you made it up.
Except for the music in the trailer, John didn't make that. But all of the other music in the show, including during the commercial and the intro and the outro, was from John Stuart. So make sure you send him a thank you for that. It's at JJ_Stewart on Twitter. Go to youmeandbtc.com to leave a comment on this episode or other episodes. Find all of our previous 120 episodes and other episodes that aren't counted, like interviews and news shows and live shows and everything. There's a crap ton there for you to explore, so go to youmeandbtc.com. And come back next Thursday, maybe Friday morning-ish, whatever. Come back, and we'll see you then. Peace.
Goodbye.
Money. I be rolling with Satoshi. What you gonna doshi? All this money that I got make me richy. I got Bitcoin. I'm so rich. Money. I'm so rich.